Welcome back, my favorite game developers. In this video we are actually going to be moving our player towards the hookshot position. So when we hit play, you'll see that we can actually, when we hit a certain point, we can move towards that point, and then we fall down when we get to our destination. But not only that, we also added the ability to have our player stop his movement while in mid-air. So now when he's flying, we can hit the E key and then we stop. So now we have this kind of nice movement in the air. So let's not waste any more time. And where is that? Whoa, what's happening in here? So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so now we want to start moving our player towards the position of our little cube, which means towards the position where our hook hooks. Let's go ahead and do that. First of all, let's open up our script in here. So this is the player. Let's move up here and we're going to create two variables. One to check the position of the hookshot position. So it's a vector 3 and it's going to be called the hook shot position, and another variable to keep track of the hook shot speed. So we're going to create a public float hook shot speed, and let's just put it at 5F right now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the hookshot position in here. So down here, whenever we actually hook or find the position and transition to another state, we're going to take this hookshot position and it's going to be equal to the hit dot point. Pretty simple, nothing too complicated. Next thing we're going to do is in here we are going to start calculating the direction in which our players should be moving. In order to do that, we'll create a vector 3. We'll call this the hook shot direction, and it's going to be equal to the hook shot position minus the transform dot position. So the position of our player normalized. So the normalized will make our vector, well, of a magnitude of 1. So let's save that. So this will be the direction. So let's just put it in here, just above it. Direction of our movement. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually start moving our player. So we already have my controller, and because we have a character controller, that means we're going to use the move, and we are going to set it in the direction. We're going to multiply it by the hookshot speed, and of course we are going to make it frame rate independent. So we're going to multiply it by the time dot delta time. So let's save that. Let's go back in Unity and let's see if that works. So we save all of that, we hit play, and we should now be able to start moving, as you can see. But if you have some weird movement, let me just go out here and look at the scene. You can see that we are kind of bouncing. If you do have this problem, go to the player, go to the animator and remove the apply root motion, save that, hit play, and this should start working completely fine. So we hit the E key and you can see, you can see where is our player. Okay, so nice. We are moving at a certain speed to the position right here on the upper. But the problem is that in game we cannot move around. So let's go ahead and add the camera movement. So in here in the switch statements, let's go ahead and copy the camera movement and paste it in here under the hookshot flying player. And now you will see firsthand how states actually operate. So now we have the camera move. So when we hit play, whenever we actually hook the hook shot in here, so we can still move, we can't jump, we can't do anything, but we can still move our head. Now what we want to do, well, we actually can still shoot, and that's because it's part of the gun system. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we actually want to have the ability to control our speed. Now currently it's very slow, we can increase it, but what we want is we want to have our speed be controlled by the amount of distance between us and the hookshot position. So let's go ahead and do that. In here we're going to create a float we are going to call it the hook shot speed modifier, and of course it's going to be equal to the vector 3 dot distance between our transform dot position, so the player, and the hookshot position. So now this will be a speed modifier, and we are going to multiply it in here. So will be, where is it? So hook, let's copy this, hookshot speed, add it in here, save all of that. So now based on the distance that is being calculated every single time, our speed will either increase when we are very far and then decrease as we get closer. So let's go ahead and actually, or in here in the inspector. So now when we hit play, and we should see that when we, I'm not sure if you've noticed it, but whenever let's try this again. So let's decrease this to 2. Let's hit play. So now you should see that when we are flying at the beginning, it's very fast and then it slows down just a little bit. So there you go. You have now noticed how this slows down. Great. Now the next thing we want is whenever we actually get to our destination, we want to, well, go back to the normal state and have gravity and all of that nice stuff. So down here, we are going to also check if our vector 3 dot distance between the transform position and the hookshot position is less than 2f. So basically we are almost there. We are going to turn back our state to a normal. State is equal to state dot a normal. That way we will have gravity again and we will be able to move and do all of our stuff. So save that, back in our game, and we hit play, and now we can hook the shot. When we get to the position, we start falling down again. Very nice. So let's try that again. We fly, we get there, and then we fall. We try that, we get there, and then we fall. So the falling is a bit too quick, and that's because of something that's not right with our game, and we are going to fix it later on. But for now I want to do something very important, and that is I want to actually clamp the speed of our hookshot. So sometimes this problem may be, you may have encountered this problem yourself. It's not very obvious in here, but sometimes the speed is just too slow whenever we get to our position. So we want to clamp it. What is clamping? Well, let me show you. In here we'll create a float, and this float is going to be the hook shot speed or hook shot minimum speed, and it's going to be equal to 12f. So this will be the minimum speed. Now this I think is exaggerated, and then the maximum will be equal to 50f. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to get our hookshot speed modifier. We'll cut all of this, we'll put it in here, and let's just remove these two lines. And instead of just setting it to vector 3, we are going to actually go ahead and get mathf dot clamp, and this clamp gives the value between the given minimum and the given maximum. So what this does is, even if our speed gets below, let's say 12f, which I think is exaggerated, then it will stay at 12f. So let's say we are flying at a speed of 0.2, which is very slow. Then what this will do is it will actually put it at 12f, and then if we are flying too fast, if we put a hookshot at the end of the universe and the distance is at maximum, our speed will not exceed the 50f. So this will be very helpful later on if for some reason we have some exaggerated speed or underestimated speed. So we are going to keep it. So the first value will be the actual value that we want. Let's go ahead and add a space in here because we don't want the line to be too long. We'll add a minimum value, which is our hookshot minimum speed. And we'll add the maximum value, which is our hookshot maximum speed. Great. Let's close this, hit the semicolon, save all of that, and now we should see, well, this might not be obvious because we are not at very high speeds. Let's Okay, great. So now our speed is much better, but you can see that there is something wrong. So you can see in here the velocity on the Y, the gravity keeps increasing. And as we fly, you can see that the gravity increases and we are falling faster and faster to the ground, which is very annoying. It's not natural and we don't feel as if we are actually going back to a normal state. It's as if we are getting squished down. So what we're going to do is we'll create a method in here, and it's going to be a private void reset gravity, and in here we are simply going to set the velocity dot y equal to 0f, and where we are going to call it in here after we reach our distance. So we're going to reset our gravity. Let's save that back in our game, and we should see a lot more improvement. So when we hit play, we'll see that when we hook the shot, we are going to fall down much nicer. Again, we fall down much nicer, and you can see that the Y isn't just increasing. When we hit the E key, we are there, we fall down, and then it gets reset. We fall down slowly every time as we move through our world with our hook shot. Very nice. So now let's continue on. You can see that when we hook the shot, we cannot use it anymore until we actually get to our destination and are back at our normal state. So we want to change that. We want to add the ability to our player to actually stop the hook shot midway and then fall down if he presses the E key again, and that's going to be part of your challenge. So your challenge is to stop the hook shot movement. So stop our player flying towards the hookshot point in midair, and then I'll give you a couple of hints. Check if we press the E key while flying. If we do, put the state back to normal, and of course you'll need to reset the gravity. So with that said, pause the video right now and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. Now, you might have used this right here, so you would be checking for the E while in the middle of our movement, but I'm going to do just a little nifty trick in here, and we're going to actually create a method to handle this. So we'll create a private, and this will have it will not be a void, it will actually have a return type. So this is a great way to introduce you to a method that has a return type, because we've never actually used one. Okay, so we're going to call this the test input down hook shot, and in here we are simply going to return. So that means we actually return a value, and because it's of type boolean, we are going to be returning a boolean. And what is that boolean? Well, it's going to be the input from the E key. So let's copy that, go back in here, paste it in here, close the semicolon, and save that. So now in here, instead of checking for the E key, we can actually go ahead and write the test down hookshot, save that, and this will return true. So because this has a return type of boolean, it will return true when we hit the E key. And also in here we are going to test while we are flying if the test hookshot down, if it's true, that means we hit the E key again while flying, we are going to put the state back to normal, and we're going to reset the gravity. So let's test this out. And if you didn't create the method, don't worry about it. I just wanted to add this as a, well, it was a perfect place to add this lesson. So we hit the E key, we fly. Okay, so we hit the E key, we hit the E key again, and we stop flying. We hit the E key, we hit the E key again, we stop flying. Great, so now we can stop in the middle of the air as we are flying. So this is the end of our video, and that's what we wanted to do in this one. In the next one, we are actually going to add the ability to jump with our player. So while we are flying, let's say we get here, we press the space button and we fly off. This will allow us to get to higher places, like for example this building right here, or this little building right here also. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.